Congratulations on the purchase of the new Minelab Explorer, which in my opinion is the best all-round metal detector on the market today. We're going to take you on a journey around various parts of the world, and this is what we're going to show you. We're going to take you beach hunting. We're going to hunt a churchyard. And we're going to go relic hunting. From assembly to programming to tips and tricks, all the way to recovering your finds. All this in Exploring the Explorer. Hi everyone, welcome to Exploring the Explorer. What are we going to show them, Pat?
What we're going to show them is how to maximize their detecting time, how to save money in repair costs, how to promote the hobby of detecting in general, and how to increase your chances of finds.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Should we go and do it?
Yeah, now there's a lot of information in each one of these segments, and so the people that already own their detectors and have already assembled them don't have to slog through the things that they're familiar with. Here's a list of what's going to be up for you.
Okay, there you go. Okay, should we do it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
First section, assembling your detector.
When you first get your Explorer, find your manual and check it against the contents of your box to make sure all parts are present. If anything's missing, contact your dealer at once. The first step is to assemble the search coil and lower shaft. Explorer XS owners should put the two plastic washers on either side of the coil yoke. The Explorer 2 comes with these washers already installed. Next, with the coil on a flat, stable surface, slide the lower shaft yoke into the yoke bracket on the coil. Take the plastic yoke bolt and insert it. Take the plastic yoke nut and tighten, being very careful not to over-tighten. Take your upper stem and release the camlock lever. Take the coil cable from the lower shaft and feed it and the lower shaft into the upper shaft as far as it will go. Take the handle assembly, which consists of the control box, handle, and armrest, and unlock the cam lever behind the control box. Take the cable connector from the shaft assembly and line it up with the matching connector on the back of the control box. Make sure the connector is pushed all the way in and tighten down the threaded locking ring. Slide the lower shaft and coil down a few inches to prevent the cable from bunching up inside the shaft. Slide the upper shaft into the handle assembly cam lock until it stops. Lock the cam lock. Adjust the lower shaft based on your personal preference and lock the lower cam lock. Loosen the screw in the center of the armrest and slide the armrest forward or back until it feels comfortable when your hand is gripping the handle. Gently remove your arm and tighten the armrest screw. Both Explorer models come with a nylon armrest strap that snaps in place on either side of the armrest. Snap the strap into the opening on both sides of the armrest and slide your arm through. Adjust the fit by loosening or tightening the strap.
Before we begin, here's a very short list of the only things a beginner should adjust on his or her Explorer. Threshold level and noise cancel. First, let's look at the controls on your Explorer.
Hang on a minute. We're not going to do it that way, are we? Mr. Editor, backlight please, bottom right, they can't see nothing here. Bottom right, backlight screen. That's better, now they can see me. Okay, well the middle shift button, that controls auto sensitivity and manual sensitivity. And you can tell that if it's in manual because it doesn't scroll around in a little square around there. You see that? Doesn't scroll around. And there's a few advantages for that, but at the moment we don't want you to change that. The power button, which is the red one down here, switches the Explorer on and off. And it also resets it back to the factory preset. So if you've made a mistake during your programming and things later on, don't worry about it, just press that little red button and you'll hear those tones. The menu button down here will take you to the main menu. And here you can adjust all the presets for what you'd like to choose for discriminations, altering the volume of detector and everything, but we don't want you to touch that at the moment because we're going to start in the factory default settings. Now the noise cancel button, which is about here, is one of the best little buttons on the machine. Just press it in and it will make a sound for about 30 seconds. And in this 30 seconds it's scanning all the different channels around and it will find the best channel for your detector to operate on. That means that you can detect with other detectorists without picking up their detectors. Now the iron mask screen down here, when we press that button, takes us to the iron mask menu. Now the iron mask controls the amount of ferrous or iron which we're going to accept or reject. The more black we see on the screen, the more iron we're going to reject. The less black we see, the more ferrous or iron content we're going to accept. The pinpoint button, which is down here, converts the detector into all metal mode, so it allows us to find the precise location of the object we're looking for. And it must be noted here that also you can use the detect button to go back to your main display from anywhere within the programs. If you press that detect button, it'll take you back. Now pressing the back button, as it says, takes you back through the menu screens that you've just been through. Now here we are, we have 3 buttons here on the right. We'll just take the top and the bottom one now. Now the top and the bottom buttons, they control your threshold tone or threshold hum. Now this is the background hum of the detector. We suggest that you set this as low as you can so you can only just about hear it. And this will enable you to pick up the changes in the objects that you can find. An example, a very small deep object will have a very faint tone. If you have a high threshold tone, you will not be able to hear that. Now let's move on. We go over here to the middle button and that converts the display to full screen mode. So here you can see the display in full screen. Now pressing any of the buttons and holding them in for more than 1 second will give you a description of what that button does. So don't worry if you forgot some of these tips we've just given you. Hold the button in for more than 1 second and it'll give you an explanation of what the button is doing. So as you can see now we've gone through the basics of the control panel and the display settings. Don't forget to take a look through your manual and find out how you can choose the various settings regarding what you're going to reject and what you're not going to reject, because we didn't want to show you those yet because we wanted you to stay in the basic factory discrimination. But there's no harm in going through and reading your manual. There's no substitute for your manual.
First thing we want to do, if you're anything like me, is run straight outside into your garden or your field and see if we can find any treasure. But before you do that, you've got this nickel metal hydride battery and it needs to be charged for 16 hours. Okay, 16 hours. So, but don't fret, don't worry. In the package you have this little one here that comes, and we take the top off there, and here you can put the standard alkaline batteries which you get from their hardware store, and we can start going straight away. So we'll put that in, and remember that 16 hours is a must because it gives the battery the full charge and it'll last you a long time. Make sure you put the clip on tight to seal it. Okay, that's it.
When you go out hunting and you stick your alkaline battery pack in your back pocket as a backup for your rechargeable one, be aware that the cover can come off if you don't tape it down with a piece of electrical tape. The cover fits pretty snugly, but if you stick it in your back pocket or in a backpack or something, be aware that it could come off and you could lose it, like I did. This is for those of us that don't mind detecting in the rain. Use a rain cover in your control panel. Why not have a rain cover for your battery pack and your headphone jack? 16-ounce water bottle, soda bottle, whatever. Cut it to fit, and what I did here was also slide it underneath my armrest wings here, and it seems to secure better. But this keeps everything perfectly waterproof, and let you detect all day in the rain if you want to.
Today we're going to teach you a little about detecting in churchyards and show you how research can pay off on what you can find if you do good research. Let's just start with the basics. Now we've got the machine switched on. In the basic factory settings, everything is normal. We won't do anything now, we just won't alter anything. I'll tell you more about that later. But let's go and see if we can find anything now. Microtip, always carry a trash bag with you. You don't want to find the same trash the next day.
Hey, you find anything?
Hi, Jim. No, not yet. But I think that's because I need to know from you a little bit of history about the place. And what can you tell me about this? Because good research leads to good finds. So this is Jim Hinsley from the First Comforted Church in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yes.
Can you tell me something about this place, Jim?
Basically, the work started here in 1874.
1874.
At that time, it was called Corinth Church.
But 1874, is that an old time in American history? Would you class that as old, or?
Oh yes, the old church used to sit parallel to the old road here.
So it used to sit parallel to here.
Exactly.
Right. That's what I'm talking about, research
Okay.
people. Because I could have gone all the way around this
Right.
church all that time and not knowing anything. But a little bit of research will tell me that the church laid parallel here. So I have more chance of finding the old items that were missing or lost during that time. Did you see the tree? Look how old that tree is there. Okay, you see it? That's approximately about 150 years old. And I think the grave area here is somewhere just about that too. So think of how many people have sat under that tree and played under that tree, or picnicked there, or sat down under the tree to get shade from hot weather. That means lost finds. That means more finds in your pocket. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a smaller coil on now. There it is, there you can see the smaller coil. It's also got a probe on it. This is from my Mark 1. And this smaller coil helps me to work in between the trash and the bits that I don't want, and also work between the tree roots. Because we're going to go, I remember I told you about the tree there, it looked very old. So we're going to go and try that there now. As a responsible detectorist, it's very disrespectful to go and detect on these graves. I mean, maybe people around here still have relatives and feel for them. It doesn't look very good for you to go around and walking all over someone's grave and digging up with a detector. How would you like it if someone come and did that to you? So also you must think about what other people think and how you represent the hobby. Nice right up the side of the tree roots, where the tree roots are around here. And remember what I said? Work slow. Most people will swing the coil really fast, and you know, if there's anything there, you're going to miss it. Okay, so work slow. Find your way round the tree roots. Okay. We're just getting a couple of iron signals there. Let's turn around this way. You're working your way around the tree roots. Now I think we got a signal here. It's reading high on my meter. So let me see. Let's see if it's a two-way signal. So I'm getting a signal that way. And I'm also getting a signal that way. Okay, let's go into pinpoint mode. And there it is. So I take that, flick it over. Okay, and any soil that is in there, I'll put on the plastic bag. Because if you're doing a large, or somebody's garden or something, the last thing they want is you to dig great big deep holes everywhere. So shall we see? Here, bring the camera here. Bring the camera here, take a look at this. We dig down the side of it. Careful. Look, I put my soil in there. Let's see what we got here. There. Look at that. See that? What is it? Being an Englishman, I don't know what it is. It's a $1 United States 1923 silver dollar. You don't want to dig right over where the coin is. You want to take your knife at the side of it, okay? So we dig around there and we push down and we push down. We don't want to cut all the grass off or it will die. You carefully move the grass over, right? And let's see what we got in here. Okay, take your soil. Remember, it's on the bag now. It's not around here ever. Take the soil, take your bag, pour it back in, get it all in there. Take your sod, move it over, push it in. Can't tell I've been there. Another thing that is important in being a responsible detectorist is getting the correct permission and talking to the right person. Make sure that you found the right person who can give you permission. In England, I've been on somewhere where the guy had no right to give me permission, but I thought he had, and I got in trouble from the farmer. So I had to bow and bend the knee and apologize, you know, I'm very sorry, blah, blah, blah.
The Eastern Seaboard has a lot of really good places. However, keep this in mind, most of these sites are now identified as historical sites, and they're off limits. Do not go on these sites with a metal detector. You will not like what they do to you if they catch you, and it gives us all a really bad name. So use common sense. Federal lands are generally off limits. State lands can also be off limits. It's better to check and be safe than to just assume that you can go and metal detect in a site.
Look at this. See this? This wasn't here yesterday. I was here until late last night, and this wasn't here. Somebody's come back after dark last night, dug this hole, left their trash on top of the ground. The English call this night hawking. The Americans just call it trespassing. Either way, you shouldn't do it. I've known this landowner for years, and no one else has permission to be on this land except me. Get permission before you go on any piece of land.
Okay folks, it's 7:05 in the morning. Here we are in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm going to do a bit on beach detecting here. I don't have much time here today and I want to maximize the use of my time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig everything. In half an hour I'll collect a full sample of what is on this beach, and then I'm going to show you how to discriminate and cancel those pieces of junk out and then just find the good targets. Okay, we're going to miss a few targets because we're using discrimination, but we want to make the best of our time. Okay, the first thing you look out for is where do you enter the beach? Where do people come onto the beach? That's where they're going to drop things. That's where they're going to lose the rings, the coins, and the things like that. Because you'd be surprised. You watch, when you get to a beach, take time to look at the beach. Look at where the people are. Just look at where the joggers are running to. Where are people sat down? Where are the trash cans? Now that may sound stupid, but where are the trash cans? People get up to throw things in the trash. I think so in America because all the beaches are so clean, not so much over where I come from.
See this? This is where this belongs. Or dragging behind you holding the end of the handle, not swinging loosely by your side, because believe it or not, your Explorer will pick it up even from a couple feet away. Now at the beach or on plowed soil, this is especially useful because what you can do is drag it behind you, leave a trail of where you've been, so you detect in several miles in one direction. You turn around, you see where you've been. Okay, those of you that have owned your Explorer Mark 1s for a while will know that sometimes this little cover can come off. Just run a piece of electrical tape across this to keep it in place. The only time you should have to have this cover off is if you have to replace your coil or you're changing coils to hunt in different areas.
Beach detecting in itself, it needs its own video, and I could be here, I don't know how long to try and explain things to you, but what I'm going to try and do is just give you a few brief points and things that you can look out for. And maybe in the future, who knows, if this video you like it, maybe you'll go out and buy the beach detecting version as well. It's a specialized thing. Some people make a living out of this, just beach detecting. I don't have the time with my job, so I want to maximize as much time as I can. Enjoy outside, the fresh air, meet people. It's great. Micro tips, Saltair corrodes. Make sure you have a protective cover around the control box. Okay, let's see what we managed to find in about half an hour. Not a lot, but I wasn't expecting to find a lot because I wanted... This is just a bit of it, okay? The one thing about these American coins is that they give a very high signal. And for an Englishman coming over here, or someone who goes detecting in Norway, you think, oh yeah, that's great, silver. No, it's rubbish. Okay, let's discriminate some of these things out. I'll show you how to do them. I won't do them here. We'll do them in the comfort of our home, whatever. Well, I said we'll do discrimination, but folks, I've changed my mind. We're gonna do it here in Ireland. This is a slow micro tip. Go to the jewelers, get yourself some of the old coins from the coin dealer from certain periods and scan them into your machine. Then you know what they sound like. Well, here we are, folks, in the county of Cork in Ireland with field specialist Desmond Dunn. Thanks for being with us, Desmond.
My pleasure, Gary.
Now, I have just a couple of questions here because we researched this video. Some people were telling us that they find pinpointing a little bit difficult. And we thought, what a better place, since we're in Ireland, to get the Minelab expert with us and to help us to explain how it's done. It's no problem for me, I know how to do it, but I want you to help the members understand and people out there.
Rightio. There is no big secret about pinpointing with the Explorer. It's quite easy to do. You have 1 or 2 or 3 different methods, but the most easy is to use the pinpoint button itself. Oh. And I can actually show that to you.
You can show us now? Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And you can use the old crisscross method without having to engage pinpoint, or you can do tip to toe, front and back of the coil.
Okay.
We can show you all of them.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, no problem.
Should we do it?
Yeah, let's go.
Great. So, where is it?
Well, it's right under here. This is the most sensitive area of your coil. So that's exactly where the coil should be, or whatever it is.
All right.
We'll find out when we actually dig it up.
All right, can you unplug the headphones so maybe we can hear the sound come through, and then we can show a bit more clearly of how he's doing this pinpoint stuff.
Let's get rid of these.
So you reckon it's a euro, yeah?
I think it might be just a modern euro coin.
A modern euro,
like
okay, let's see.
Well, before we dig it up, let's have 2 more looks at 2 other ways of pinpointing.
Okay.
You can go the old-fashioned method. Crisscross.
Yeah.
And try to estimate roughly where the central axis will be for the target.
Okay.
Now, if you have a difficult pinpointing, what you can do, you can turn the coil really quickly on edge.
Yeah. Ah, right.
And that isolates, because not only does the coil detect upwards and downwards, but it also detects sideways.
Yeah.
So you have the detectability of a normal search motion.
Oh, brilliant.
Except it's on edge, so it's highly concentrated.
Okay.
But for now, let's do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
We'll pinpoint.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can see the signal is coming.
Yeah, so you reckon it's around that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll take the... to see what we have.
Okay.
There she is, right in the middle.
Okay.
Okay. This one.
Okay. What is it?
It's a euro.
It's a euro.
Euro, yeah. Let's have a quick wash.
Brilliant.
Yeah, an Irish euro. 2002. Year it was introduced.
Okay.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Very, very nice.
Well done.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why people find this so difficult. I mean, because since I got my Explorer, I found pinpointing very easy. And as you can see, folks, Des just did it there, and it wasn't that difficult. He gave you a couple of methods there of how to do it. It's just practice, I suppose, isn't it?
Practice, really, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that if you come from one detector to the next,
Yeah.
you almost have to relearn what you've known previously.
Okay.
Because the Explorer does operate in a different way to other
Yeah,
detectors.
yeah.
That's because of the technology.
Okay.
It's a bit more up to date, you know, than others.
Yeah.
But there is no great mystery in that, is there?
Yeah. No,
Yeah, yeah.
no. Thanks for that, mate.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's do a little bit on coil technique now. Look in these video frames. Very important that you keep your coil low to the ground. No space between the coil. Look at that shot on the beach. There you can see it nice and flat. That's where you're going to find your stuff. Keep it nice and slow. Don't go real fast or you miss the targets. Think about it this way. It's just like you're sat in a car driving your car. 5 miles an hour, you look around, you'll see everything. If you're in your Ferrari doing 150, you don't see jack shit.
I see people hunting very fast. This is okay to locate a new site, but once you start digging a few targets, slow down, take your time. I've been known to worry stuff out of the ground. And if you want to find more targets in heavy trash or at more depth, slow down and listen carefully.
When I was in America, right? These are some of the finds that I found. And I want you to show me how to discriminate them out.
All right, then.
How to take them out so I can maximize my time like I did on the beach in America.
Okay.
So there's just three different pull
they're-
tabs I found.
They're the most common things that are the chief offenders everywhere, really,
Okay.
Gary. Nobody really wants to find the pull tabs because what we're after is the gold.
Yeah.
Do you want to lose anything else? Do you want to?
I also want to get rid of some of the clad that I had.
Okay.
Like the coins and things that I
Okay.
didn't want.
All right then. Well, we can make up a pattern here
Yeah.
that would actually take these out and will take your clad out as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to find the gold.
Okay. Well, this is a really, really quick way
Yeah.
of rejecting stuff that you don't want to find, so that you will find the gold.
Okay.
We'll use that euro that we just found a while ago. Because it's got the same conductive properties
Right.
as your clad coins, your
brilliant.
dimes, and your quarters.
Yeah, brilliant.
So we'll just go through it, okay?
Yeah.
Just place them on the ground.
Yeah.
You've got to space them fairly evenly, so that you don't relearn them.
Okay.
So, all right then. Okay, this is what we do want to find. This is what we don't want to find.
Okay.
So we just go through the motions, okay?
Yeah.
Now the detector is on.
Okay.
So we need to go to our menu.
Because this is quite simple now what we're doing. We're not going because this detector is so powerful and all the many different things we can
Right.
do. I don't want to confuse people, so I want to make it quite simple,
Yeah.
but just show how easy it is to take away these targets here.
Right. Okay. We will go to our menu.
Okay.
We'll go to the options.
Okay.
We'll select advanced.
Okay.
Now we can go through to our third and fourth screens, which are the learn screens.
Okay.
We go to the third one.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah.
Now down here you have 3 cursor sizes.
Okay.
Small, medium and large.
Yeah.
This is where you can actually generate the area that you either want to find or don't want to
Okay.
find. Okay, now we're going to select the medium cursor because
Medium
we don't
one.
we don't want to reject everything
Okay. Right.
while still being sensitive to the gold.
Okay.
We'll press our X.
So it starts to flash when we're.
The X starts
okay.
to flash.
Right.
That will just come up over the items we want to reject.
Okay.
Once that's done, you turn off your learn function
Yeah.
and store it.
Okay, right. So you're going to store this in there. We can
Yeah.
store how many patterns can we store with this thing?
You can store 6.
6 patterns.
Yeah.
Great. So
we'll put it in here, and that's in there until
Okay.
you actually want to change it again, or
Yeah.
next week if you're at a different beach, you can carry on.
Brilliant.
With the same pattern.
fantastic. So you get that. So you can save up to 6 patterns in the machine. So when you go on a beach, you only have to do this once if you're going to the same beach, because then you can discriminate those things that are out and away you go again. So you can save it for different areas that you're on.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. That's
Exactly.
brilliant. It could be a pull tab. But it could also be gold because it registers in the same place half the time. Super micro tip. Don't wear steel toe cap boots. My pinpoint tells me
just below there. So let's run it over again. But somewhere around that area. Nothing there. Wait. There we go. It's gold ring. Don't know what carat it is. Anyway, it's a lot better finding one of these than finding a load of pull tabs and little clad coins. So that's what I mean about discriminating certain things out. Maximize your time, get a nice ring like that. My wife's going to be happy. Ah! Ah! Well, here we are in Cove Castle in the UK. What better place for us to start our relic hunting section? Built in the 9th century and destroyed in 1647 by Oliver Cromwell. Here you'll be able to meet a few of the guys, and a great big thank you goes out to the farmer who gave us permission to detect and film on his land. Well, it's harder to get through the air. It's easy to get. If it gets 4 inches in the air, it might get 8 inches in the ground. You think so?
Yeah, if you go, that's right. I think when I found that was high pitched.
When you want to detect somewhere, you have to know that there was something in the past. Otherwise, you're not finding something over there. So what I always do is I look at aerial photographs. I also look at old maps. You even can find them on the internet nowadays. It's very handy. Do some research before you go hunting somewhere, and you will find a lot more.
You know where we're going then?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not only finding coins over here, there are also some really nice artifacts found over here, like Roman brooches, a Roman bell, some nice very old bullets, musket balls, things like that.
I showed him, I already thought so. He said, be careful, it's a grenade.
If you want to detect over here, I think it's very important to use a high sensitivity and a high gain. That's because you find over here the very small Roman and Celtic coins, and also the very small and thin hammered coins, the medieval ones. So if you put your gain a little higher, the small signals turn out to be a little louder and they're more easy to detect. That's the reason I always put my gain at 8, sometimes even 9 over here. And sensitivity at 25, 26, 27. Even when it's hard, you get some false signals, so you can put it down, especially when you're a beginner. But when you know the detector, you know what a false signal is and what a good signal is.
Thimble, but broken.
Here it is very important to don't use discrimination. I put the iron mask all the way back, so I have a total white screen, and I only reject iron nails. That's because some of the Roman coins and brooches we find, they're in the bottom left corner, and most people, they discriminate them or mask them, and we are finding them. This should be a good signal.
Micro tip here again, always check for two-way signals. If you get them, dig them.
As you can see, the ground is very hard over here.
Micro tip, always carry an extra spade with you because Mikkel broke his after this scene.
I see it. Oh yeah. Have a look at that. Roman brooch. Maybe if we clean it, you will still see the enamel in it. I think it has been an enameled one. I think it's important to have an archaeologist in your area, or somebody where you can report your finds to, because some finds you do may solve a puzzle the archaeologists are trying to solve it for years and years. So I think it's very important to report your finds and don't give the hobby a bad name.
Hammered silver.
Because here in England, for instance, I know for sure there are found lots of hoards of coins and they are not reported, but those hoards don't only have a value in money, they also have an archaeological value, which sometimes is much more important. So if you're starting detectors, report your finds. It's very important.
Nice. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, we're near Poole in England, the southwest of England, Dorset. There's a very nice area over here. Around the corner here there are lots of clay. The Roman dug that clay to make pottery out of it. Musket ball, small one. When you're starting detectors, you will find a lot of unidentified objects. It's very handy to upload them on the Minelab owner's website gallery, and some other people will look at it and tell you what it is. That's very important, because don't throw away your rubbish, because you will see a lot of things you think it's rubbish and other people say it's a very good find.
I get this posed to me all the time. If I dig up a belt buckle, what do? Well, basically you've got to get it home intact. So try to protect it. It's not really good to put a belt plate or a button in your digging pouch unprotected. I always carry medicine bottles, little plastic medicine bottles, and I'll put 10 or 12 cotton balls in there. If I dig a coin, let's say, and I can see that it's a contemporary coin, I'll throw it in my digging pouch. Otherwise, I'll put it in between cotton balls in my medicine bottles. I don't ever rub the dirt. Just by taking that coin and rubbing the dirt off to look and see what it is going to scratch it. All dirt worldwide has microparticles of sand in it. And when you rub that coin to see what it is, you're scratching it all to pieces. You may not be able to see it with your eyes, but trust me, a collector or dealer will put a loop on it and they'll see scratches all over it. And if you did find a rare coin, you've really hurt the value. With relics, part of what makes them historically aged is the patina. Bullets are white because lead oxidizes and turns white. If you're digging bullets in the woods, the tannic acid from decaying leaves will leave them brown. That's okay. You take the bullets home, you wash them off with water and a toothbrush. That's all that's necessary. Never try to scrub off the white patina.
We think there was a Roman settlement on this field, but we don't know for sure. But we're finding some Roman coins, so I guess something has been here. Roman coin, here. I think it's very good to mention Holland, because in Holland you have to use a Minelab because it's so mineralized because of all the salt in our soil. If you take another detector, it goes like beep, 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 all false signals. So in my area, they only use Minelabs.
Relic hunting in the U.S. isn't really all that much different from relic hunting anywhere else, except that we don't normally dig up things over 1,000 years old on a daily basis. Relic hunting in the U.S. actually started long before the invention of the machine that was later to be known as a metal detector. David Keith's going to take us through the progression of relic hunting in the U.S. and show us where we are today.
Relic hunting started in America long before the advent of metal detectors. I've read many diaries where Union and Confederate troops talked about climbing over the wall as soon as the smoke cleared to pick up souvenirs, sometimes cutting buttons off officers' coats, taking their belt plates, or especially their swords and pistols. These relics, as we know them today, would find their way back to camp and sometimes be left there, only for someone years later to find with a metal detector. Before metal detectors were invented, relic hunters, as they became to be known, would take shovels and rakes and buckets and travel through the old areas in the southeast where the armies had camped and fought, and look for things on top of the ground that possibly had washed out by rain and erosion. Getting into a hot spot, as they were known, such as a trench, these men would use shovels and rakes and literally rake these relics out by the bucketfuls. Many old-timers that started relic hunting many years ago have told me in the old days of relic hunting, in the 60s especially, digging caches of buried guns, shells, belt plates, all the leftover scrap from a battle would be taken off or buried. It wasn't until World War II that metal detectors really became a useful tool for soldiers fighting overseas to locate landmines. After the war, a few enterprising young men at the time found that they could look for metal objects or relics and began to use them in the fields and battlefields, campsites of America to try to find Civil War relics, Revolutionary War relics, War of 1812, and pioneer and colonial objects. In the beginning, it was very difficult to use this equipment. It was extremely heavy, and it would pick up just about any metal in the ground. Later on, there was the invention of discrimination, and that allowed you to eliminate some of the iron or unwanted targets. Today, they've advanced greatly. They're on the scale of computers, and you can selectively pick and choose the targets that you want to dig. From the early days of using a World War II minesweeper or mine detector to today's technology, there's been immense changes in metal detectors and how they operate. It's given us the advantage of going into not only new sites that are littered with iron and other undesirable trash targets, to being able to go in and pick selective targets such as coins, jewelry, and relics. The early relic hunters really had a hard time distinguishing between any metal, so it was very difficult to know what you were going to dig until after you got it up out of the ground.
Okay, now we've come to a great part of this machine, and one of its features is called noise cancel. And what that does, it scans 11 channels or 11 frequencies and tries to find the best one in the area. Now that can be set off by electrical interference and all other problems. Now when you press this button, it'll make this sound, right? And it'll make that sound for about 20 seconds approximately. You hear it? Now if the cameraman goes up and looks towards this where we're standing, you'll see I'm standing near electrical pylon. And that's what was giving us the problem there with the interference. And with the noise cancel button, we can cancel that out and take it away. So when we go to a rally and we're detecting with other people and other detectors around you, press the noise cancel button. This is what gives you the advantage in the rallies, when a lot of other detectors you're detecting with are having problems to stable their detector.
Many times, areas that you've been relic hunting many years before can be researched now with some of the newer technology, and getting more depth means you're going to get more finds. There's very few metal detectors out there that can truly do a good job for the coin hunter, the jewelry hunter, the relic hunter, and just all around metal detecting. And there's very few machines that you can do well with on land and then go to a saltwater beach and get phenomenal depth when you're dealing with high minerals from the ocean and salt water. If you're looking for a metal detector that is an all-round metal detector that you can use turn on and go, or advanced programs, up to 6 advanced specialty programs that you yourself can design, then the Explorer is what you're going to need.
Well, here's a quick tip for you. Get yourself some business cards made with your name and your address on. What does that do? It makes you look more professional. When you go to the farmer and ask if you can detect on his land, there it is, your name and address.
Good headphones can make a big difference in what you're hearing, so don't overlook those. I see many people a lot of times paying a lot of money for a good top-of-the-line detector, only to turn around and want a very inexpensive set of just plain stereo headphones. We have a good selection of headphones out there today that are designed for metal detecting. So choose them wisely and get you a set that's designed for what you want to do. Talk to your dealer about that, and don't overlook your headphones.
For those of you that detect where buried explosives is a possibility, this segment's for you. 2 very good examples of what to do and what not to do when finding buried explosives.
Put it safely in a corner somewhere where you'll find it again.
Yeah.
We drop it to the police because this is still active.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we'll put it somewhere. We'll put it underneath Tony's car. And
No, he's riding with me, you can't do that.
here, your Civil War relic, guys. This is a World War I rifle launch grenade. What it's doing here, who knows? But it's probably still active, so we'll drop that in at the police. Or have them come and get it.
Tell whoever it was who picked it up and started walking away with 30 feet, he picked up a live grenade.
Yeah.
Okay?
He said it was live.
Oh yes, it's live. They're going to blow it up here.
Yeah, good.
So that's what not to do when you pick up a live grenade. He says, well, it can be very unstable at times. So they're not even going to do it, they're just going to blow it up straight away.
Stand by! Fire it!
Bomb, isn't it?
There's a bomb.
Second World War.
World War II?
Yes.
Yeah. Normandy landings practice all around this coastline.
Yes. What do you do with it? Bury it again?
Yeah, we'll bury it. I've taken the coordinates so they can blow it up if they want to.
Okay.
Yeah, you might get the army down, but it's 2 feet down. There's loads of them along here.
If you even suspect what you've dug up or what you're digging up is an explosive, stop immediately. Call the authorities, let them deal with it.
I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about aftermarket products available for Explorer owners. First, let's discuss Coiltech. Coiltech makes the 15-inch diameter Watt coil, the wonderful orange thing. This coil is designed for places like beaches, parks, open areas where you need a lot of coverage and some increased depth. This large coil enables you to selectively go back into hunted out areas, and with the additional depth it can provide, find some of those deep elusive targets. Very good for coverage too. As I said, beach hunting especially. This is the Joey coil. It is a 5 by 10 inch elliptical coil that gives you good coverage and side-to-side sweeps, but yet the 5-inch width diameter allows you to get into trashy spots and pick some of those areas clean of elusive targets that are being masked out by other trash targets, especially ferrous or iron targets. It's a good choice if you're looking for a coil to hunt in trash with that's lightweight. Sunray products. Most of you are aware of Sunray products. Many of you own them. But if you're not really sure of how to use them and what product to use in each scenario, let me discuss it a minute with you. First, we have the X5 Stealth Coil. This is a very thin, lightweight coil that is exceptionally good to use in heavy trash. Places such as old house sites, fairgrounds, anywhere that the trash is very dense. This is a coil that would be very effective in that scenario. For coin hunting, jewelry hunting, and relic hunting too. This coil will enable you to go in and pick out a lot of those hard to find and small targets. Depth on this coil averages about 5 to 6 inches. Sometimes in good moisture ground you'll get a little bit more, but it's really designed to go in and pick targets out of heavy trash. The next coil I'd like to discuss is the Stealth X8. This is a true 8-inch diameter coil that is good in most all-around metal detecting. It has good coverage and depth and can be used in trashy places. I personally would prefer the X5 coil in very, very dense trash, but in typical trashy house sites and Civil War camps and any place that you have moderate to heavy trash, this would be a good choice to pick those targets out and gain exceptional depth for its size. This is another good choice. Sunray also makes coil plugs. The X8 coil plugs are inserted in between the open areas of the X8 coil, and this gives you a solid coil that doesn't snag and hang up on stubble and brush when you're hunting. These are good combination products. The next coil is Sunray's large X12. This is a 12.5 diameter coil that gives you, again, good coverage when you're in areas such as beaches, parks, fields, anywhere that you need additional coverage and more depth. I use this a lot in my relic hunting when I'm going to hunted out sites where the remaining targets are very deep, or I might be looking for Civil War artillery fragments that can be quite deep in the ground. This coil is very lightweight for its size, and it gives you not only the good coverage but the depth, and is a good choice for the Explorer owner. Another good product that Sunray makes is the coil support bracket. If you're using a larger coil, these help support the large coil to the lower shaft so you don't develop wobble as you're sweeping beaches and large open areas.
We've got a few of these on the forum for you to win and a few other little goodies. So don't forget, join Find of the Month. Post your picture up there and we'll see what we can send you. We've got coils from Coil Tech, we've got a few things from Sunray, we've got quite a lot of stuff that we can use up there. So if you post your picture, put it in the Find of the Month, win the prize. Or if you're not so sure, you can put it up there for identification. And maybe one of our experts on there will come in and give you a hand.
One of my favorite products Sunray makes is the Q12 charger. This is an automatic charger that you plug into the wall. Your amber light comes on to tell you the power's on, and your green light comes on when you first start charging. Within 20 minutes, this smart charger can sample your battery, and if it still has a full charge, the green light begins blinking. That's telling you you have a full charge. If it's necessary to get a full charge on your battery, this can be done in about 4 hours, depending upon the battery you have. Once it's fully charged, the Q12 will start blinking its green light, telling you it's charged, and it goes to an automatic trickle. This prevents overcharging. If you own the XS or the Explorer 2 and you have the Q12, you will need the Explorer battery station. Your Explorer nickel metal hydride lays in the tray, the battery charger plugs in, and you have the adapter to charge your Minelab Explorer batteries. For those of you that own the Minelab Explorer XS, this is the Sunray jack adapter stand. It allows you to convert the 1/8 inch headphone jack on the XS to a 1/4 inch jack plug, and most of us prefer to use the 1/4 inch jack found on many quality headphones available today. The Sunray rain dust covers. Sunray manufactures a variety of colors to choose from. They Velcro open and simply insert over your control housing. This protects against dirt, dust, and the occasional rain shower that sometimes slips up on us. They're washable. Simply hand wash in the sink if they become dirty, and it's a really minor investment to protect your Explorer. Very good to take with you in the field, or as some of us do, just keep them on all the time. Another product that Sunray makes for the stock Minelab 10.5 FBS coil is the Sunray 10.5 coil plugs. Just like the X8, the 10.5 coil plugs insert within the open areas of your 10.5 coil, and this again gives you a flat, solid surface to hunt in stubble, brush, and wooded areas. They're extremely lightweight, so you're not going to notice any additional weight because they're feather light. These are the new Sunray Pro headphones. They offer a lot of nice features as far as comfort and quality of sound. They're very adjustable, and they have twin volume controls, one on each ear. They have a compatibility switch so you can change from stereo to mono detectors, and a sound limiter. The sound limiter is very useful when searching for deep targets because you can turn it off and hear those soft, faint sounds better. However, if you're hunting in high trash areas where the possibility of going over an aluminum can at 2 inches could damage your hearing, you simply switch the limiter switch on, and this will mute the loud, ear-damaging sounds that you want to avoid. Without a doubt, one of the most popular products that Sunray makes is the X1 Target Probe. This great probe simply attaches to your Explorer. The switch box is mounted on your upper shaft. The probe attaches to your battery compartment with clamps. When you're searching for a target and you find it with your coil, whether it's the small, medium, or large coils, this will help you precisely pinpoint where it's at in the hole. How many times have you dug 8 or 10, 12 inches deep and you still can't pinpoint and find that target? Well, those of us that like to relic hunt and coin hunt, we always face the same problem. What if we damage or put a scratch on this nice find? The pinpoint probe will help you quickly find your target and avoid hitting that target with your digging tool by precisely pinpointing. The probe itself will give you approximately 3 inches of depth on the average coin-sized target. This allows you to zero in, and the great thing about it is, whatever program you're running on your Explorer, that's what your X1 Target Probe is going to use. By simply switching the coil off and the probe on, you turn off your main coil and take your probe, and now avoid all those nails in a trashy site and find that silver coin, button, bullet, or belt plate. New owners of the X1 Target Probe usually consider buying one to help them pinpoint the target, but what they soon realize is they're retrieving targets at a faster rate of speed. If you save 3 to 5 minutes off each target, look what that equals at the end of the day. Maybe a half an hour to an hour of additional hunting time, and that always equals more finds.
And there are different sizes of coils. What to use on what side is very difficult. Normally I just put on the standard coil and have a look. If it's nulling out very much, I usually put on a smaller coil so you can detect more items in between of the iron things. So I think it's important to have different sizes of coils. The standard coil, always try with that first. If it's nulling out too much, take a smaller coil. If it's not nulling out at all, you can even try a bigger coil, because on some fields they're hunting for 20 years already, and I think all of the trash has taken out of there, and there are sometimes only one signal every hour. On that field I used a very large coil, so you have more depth and more chance of finding some nice things.
For those of you that have the Sunray X1 Target Probes, here's a little tip that could save you some aggravation. Make sure before you start detecting that your probe switch is flipped toward the coil and not toward the probe. Otherwise, as you swing, you're going to get some really weird reactions from your probe as it detects the car keys and the change in your front pocket.
Well, in this section here, we're going to talk about programming, and we're going to show a few up on the screen. And these come from the guys on the MLO forum. You've got Tony Hunt's program there. You've got John, which is JKXS, and we'll show you a couple more. So if you have any questions, just log on to the website and ask the guys. So we're going to show you just a few stills, run them for a few seconds, and then you have time to write them down, or you can fast forward or rewind back to the video later on. Well, I couldn't ask for a better place, Pat, to finish our video here.
That's the truth, yeah.
Say
Great
goodbye.
place.
The Ovens Bar here in Corking Island.
Great place.
Great place. If you're ever free, go and visit it. Well, what can I say, mate?
I hope you people learned something from this video. Now go out and find stuff.
Yeah.
And look out for the next one because there's one more coming up after this one.
Yeah. And don't forget to visit the website. If you have any questions, you can post them up there. So, take care. Keep the coil to the soil. All the best, folks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
One of the beauties about this detector is the noise cancel function. Now you can go out and you'll find that your hair on your crosshair is bouncing all over the place and moving around. And then the rabbit jumps in and says hair. Pressing the detect button gives us two choices of screen. Here we have the detect smart quick.
Nickel metal hydride.
This controls the amount of ferrous, which is a fancy word for iron, by the way.
And I'd like to thank everyone that's helped me through the years. My manager and my makeup artist. Thank you.
Take a look at some of these videos. Look how the way it's doing on the beach here. Notice that how low it is to the floor, to the ground. Makes sense here. Imagine a little that don't work.
We've taught you how to set it up, and the first thing.
We're gonna take you beach hunting. We're gonna take. Clean your lens. Clean it.
Next, with a coil on a flat, stable surface, slide the lower lower shaft yoke into the yoke making sure that the two rivets are blasted in front of the coil.
So put the headphones on, and let's see. Conductivity. We can see the conductivity.
Now, leave your clothes on, Gary. Yeah.
Otherwise they will scare.
Microtip. I've been here for a week and I've never seen a blooming leprechaun in all this time. Despite what the people say. Microtip wear a factory pre-made detector cover. No, don't wear it. Put it on your detector. You've lost it. Don't forget the trash that you have dug up, put it in the waste paper basket or not the waste paper basket. Well, as you can see, this is discrimination. It come up about 50 meters deep. We got the JCB. I found 3, discriminated them out, and now hopefully we won't find any more. Hi, Gary here with a quick E. Hi, me again with a quick micro tip for you. That was it. Okay, people.
Okay.
Micro tip don't. Seashells on the seashore. They feel very happy, you know, that they got your phone number, your name and address, and they can call you. You can say to him, listen, if you lose something or a tool or anything, you lose your tool.
You should take.
Micro tip, close your eyes. It's dark, innit?